Welcome to a video that can truly transform the way your mind works. If you've ever heard a name and forgotten it seconds later, studied for hours only to blank out during an exam, or walked into a room and suddenly had no idea why you went there, this is for you. If your mind feels crowded with information, but you still can't hold on to what matters, then this isn't just helpful, it's exactly what you need. Today, you're going to discover a clear system to unlock your brain, strengthen your memory, and remember what you choose long term. This isn't another 5 quick hacks video. This is a powerful method that can reshape how your brain processes and stores information starting right now. And there's a bonus while you listen. You'll also improve your English naturally by hearing strong, clear sentence structures and expanding your vocabulary without effort. So whether your goal is to pass exams, retain what you read, speak more confidently, or sharpen your mind, stay until the end. Because if you apply what you're about to learn, forgetting important things will no longer be your problem. You'll finally trust your mind again. Let's start. Step 1. Understand how memory really works, the real reason you forget. Before learning how to remember better, you must understand why forgetting happens. Most people think their memory is weak. They say, "I'm not smart," or "I just can't remember things." But the truth is simple: you don't have a bad memory, you have an untrained one. And the biggest mistake: no one ever taught you how memory actually functions. Think of your brain like a library. Every piece of information, a name, a fact, a date, is like a book. But if that book isn't properly placed, labeled, and revisited, it disappears into the mess. That's what happens in your mind. Information enters, but it doesn't stay because it never moves from short-term memory into long-term storage. Short-term memory is like a whiteboard: write something, and it fades quickly. Long-term memory is like a permanent notebook: it stays. But most people never transfer information properly. They hear names without repeating them, read without connecting, cram without reviewing. So everything fades. Imagine meeting someone named Jason. You hear it once and move on. Minutes later, you forget. Why? Because your brain didn't process it. But if you repeat it, connect it to something familiar, and visualize it, you create a stronger memory path. That's the truth. Memory isn't talent. It's a skill, and it starts with understanding the system behind it. Your memory isn't broken, your method is. Today, you fix that. Step 2. Give full attention, because you can't remember what you never truly noticed. Here's a hard truth: your issue isn't memory, it's focus. You cannot remember what you didn't fully observe. If your brain never paid attention, it never saved the information. Every day, your brain is flooded with input: sounds, visuals, messages, conversations, distractions. If it tried to store everything, it would overload. So it filters. And what decides what stays? Your attention. What you focus on gets stored. What you ignore disappears. Imagine stepping out of a taxi while distracted, thinking about something else. You leave your bag behind. Minutes later, panic hits, but you can't recall the car details. Why? Because you never paid attention. Now imagine you paused, noticed the car, repeated the number plate in your mind. That one moment of focus could have saved everything. The same thing happens when you study while distracted. You're present physically, but your mind is elsewhere, so nothing sticks. The world is designed to break your focus: notifications, multitasking, constant noise. But memory begins with attention. From now on, when something matters, pause, look, listen, read it. Give it 5 seconds of real focus. That small effort can turn a temporary moment into a lifelong memory. Attention is the doorway. If you don't open it, nothing enters. Step 3. Convert words into images, because your brain thinks visually. Now that you understand attention, here's the next secret: your brain doesn't store words, it stores images. If I say elephant, you don't see letters, you see the animal. That's how memory works. So if you want to remember anything, turn it into a picture. Words are dull and abstract, but images are vivid and alive. They carry color, motion, and emotion. For example, if you meet someone named Lily, don't just memorize the name, imagine her surrounded by flowers or holding lilies. Now, your brain has something visual to attach to. The more unusual or exaggerated the image, the stronger it sticks. Want to remember volcano? Don't picture a normal mountain, imagine a giant cake exploding with molten chocolate. Add sound, movement, even smell. It may feel silly, but that's exactly why it works. Memory thrives on creativity. If you need to remember a list, don't repeat it, build a mental scene. A carton of milk, reading a book, sitting on shoes, while eggs fall from the sky, and a cat watches with glasses. Now, it's memorable because it's visual and fun. This is how memory experts recall massive amounts of information. Stop reading passively, start seeing actively. When you turn information into images, your brain stops leaking information and starts storing it like a vault. Step 4. Use stories because your brain is built for narrative. Here's a powerful truth. Your brain doesn't like isolated facts. It loves stories. Stories create connection, emotion, and flow. That's why random lists are hard to remember, they lack structure. But when you turn information into a story, everything links together. Imagine trying to memorize a list of random items. You might recall a few, but most will fade. Now turn those items into a bizarre, funny story where each element leads to the next. Suddenly becomes unforgettable. Why? Because your brain now sees a sequence, not separate pieces. Stories create movement, emotion, and imagery, all the things memory needs. This is why you remember movie scenes for years, but forget information you read yesterday. So if you want to remember anything, tasks, vocabulary, ideas, wrap it in a story. The more unusual and emotional, the better. Your brain holds onto what surprises it. This isn't just a trick, it's a complete shift in how you store information. Step 5. Apply spaced repetition because one-time learning doesn't last. Here's the reality: cramming doesn't work long term. Learning something once doesn't mean it's stored forever. Your brain needs repetition over time. Think of memory like writing in sand. It fades unless you rewrite it again and again. This is where spaced repetition comes in. Review information after increasing time gaps after 1 hour, 1 day, a few days, a week, and so on. Each review strengthens the memory. Your brain begins to recognize it as important and stores it deeper. Without review, forgetting is guaranteed. With repetition, memory becomes permanent. It's like turning something fragile into something solid. Whether you use apps or simple notes doesn't matter. What matters is revisiting information at the right time. Consistency beats intensity. Review creates permanence. Step 6. Attach emotion because feelings make memories stick. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the memory. You don't remember ordinary moments, but you remember emotional ones vividly. That's because your brain prioritizes feelings over facts. If you want to remember something deeply, connect it to emotion. Don't just read, feel it. Turn facts into experiences. When learning, ask yourself how it connects to real life. Can you relate it to joy, pain, surprise, or curiosity? Even adding humor or exaggeration helps. Your brain doesn't care if the emotion is real or imagined, it just needs intensity. When emotion is present, memory becomes permanent. Step 7. Teach what you learn because teaching locks it in. One of the most powerful ways to remember something is to teach it immediately. The moment you explain something, you shift from passive learning to active understanding. Teaching forces you to recall, organize, and express the idea in your own words. That process strengthens memory deeply. You don't need a classroom, just explain it to a friend. Speak it out loud, write about it, or even pretend to teach. When you teach, you reinforce the knowledge twice. Learning gives you information. This is one of the most powerful mental techniques you can ever use. And the best part, it costs nothing, takes very little time, and you can start using it immediately. Practice it daily, and you'll turn your brain into a memory powerhouse. Even better, people around you will start getting inspired to learn just by watching how you think and grow. Step 8. Build a mind palace because your brain remembers places better than plain information. This is one of the oldest and most famous memory methods ever created. It was used by ancient thinkers and is still used today by memory champions who can memorize decks of cards, long speeches, and huge amounts of random data in minutes. It's called the Mind Palace. And now you're going to learn how it works. Your brain is naturally designed to remember places, rooms, streets, buildings, environments. Even years later, you can still recall your childhood home, the layout, the colors, even certain smells. That's because your brain connects strongly with space. Locations act like anchors for information. Now imagine placing everything you want to remember inside a familiar place in your mind. You could mentally walk through it and pick up each memory with ease. That's exactly what a mind palace does. Start simple. Choose a place you know very well, your home, your school, or a favorite spot. Then mentally walk through it, step by step. Picture every detail like you're inside it. Now assign one piece of information to each location using vivid images. For example, if you want to remember the planets in order, you can place them around your house using creative visuals. As you mentally walk through, each image reminds you of the next item. Suddenly, remembering becomes effortless. This works because your brain already understands the space. You're just adding information into it. This is how memory experts store massive amounts of data. You can use it for speeches, vocabulary lists, facts, routines, anything. To make it even stronger, use exaggerated, emotional, or funny images. Revisit your palace regularly. The more familiar it becomes, the more powerful it gets. At first, it may feel strange, but with practice, it becomes natural. And once you master it, your mind won't feel like a messy place anymore. It will feel organized, structured, and reliable. Step 9. Review before sleep because nighttime is when your brain decides what stays. Here's something most people never learn. What you do right before sleep has a huge impact on what you remember long term. When you sleep, your brain isn't switching off. It's sorting, organizing, and storing everything you experience during the day. Think of it like a librarian reviewing all the books you open. It decides what to keep and what to throw away. And what influences that decision? Repetition, emotion, and timing. When you review something just before sleeping, you're telling your brain, this matters, keep it, and your brain listens. Imagine you studied some English words earlier in the day, but didn't revisit them at night. Instead of reviewing, you scroll through social media and watch random videos. Your brain assumes those are more important because they were the last thing you saw. Now flip that habit. Before bed, take just a few minutes to review what you learned. Say it out loud, think about it, connect with it, and then sleep. Your brain will lock it in. This simple habit takes almost no extra time, but creates massive results. It improves memory, builds consistency, and even helps your focus and sleep quality. It's a small routine, but it's a powerful one. Step 10. Things down because writing is how your brain saves information. There's a reason people forget what they hear or read, but remember what they write. Writing activates your brain in a deeper way. It slows you down, forces clarity, and builds a strong connection between thought and action. Think of writing as pressing the save button in your mind. If you don't write something, it stays loose and temporary. But when you write it, it becomes fixed. Reading is passive, but writing is active. When you write, your brain says, this is important, and that's when real learning begins. It's not just about remembering words, it's about understanding them. For example, If you learn a new word and just read its meaning, you might forget it soon. But if you write the word, its meaning, sentence, and a personal connection, it becomes part of you. Writing by hand is especially powerful because it engages your brain more than typing. The physical act strengthens memory pathways. Studies even show that handwritten notes improve retention more than typing. So start writing new words, ideas, lessons, anything valuable. Even one sentence a day can make a difference. Over time, you're not just taking notes, you're building your own knowledge system. Step 11. Use active recall because testing yourself creates real memory. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that rereading means learning. It doesn't. Understanding something while looking at it is not the same as remembering it without help. The real test is simple. Can you recall it when it's not in front of you? If not, it's not fully learned yet. That's where active recall comes in. Close the book, shut the app, and ask yourself what you remember. No hints, no shortcuts, just your brain. This effort of pulling information out strengthens your memory more than anything else. The more you practice recalling, the stronger your memory becomes. It's like training a muscle. Reading is like watching someone exercise, but recalling is like actually lifting the weight. Even if you struggle at first, that struggle is the learning process. Over time, it becomes easier, faster, and more reliable. Step 12. Protect your mind from overload because a distracted brain cannot remember. If your mind is constantly filled with noise, distractions, and unnecessary information, your memory will never reach its full potential. This isn't just advice, it's essential. Memory isn't only about adding more knowledge, it's also about removing what doesn't matter. In today's world, your attention is constantly under attack. If you don't protect it, your brain becomes cluttered, and a cluttered mind cannot focus, cannot think clearly, and cannot remember effectively. From today, be selective, be intentional, choose what you allow into your mental space. Because you only have one brain, don't fill it with things that don't serve you. Now, you've learned 12 powerful steps to remember anything for life. These are not shortcuts, they are real, proven methods that can transform how you learn, think, and grow. They will help you remember faster, speak more clearly, understand deeply, and feel confident in your mind again. But remember, knowing is not enough. You must apply them daily, because strong memory isn't about talent, it's about consistent action. Do you review? Do you write? Do you teach? Do you focus? Do you protect your mind? If yes, then you're not just improving your memory, you're becoming someone who truly understands and remembers what matters. This video is more than just memory training. It's about unlocking the true potential of your mind. And one more thing, while you've been listening, you've also been improving your English. Every sentence, every idea has helped you think more clearly and understand more deeply. So if you enjoyed this and want more content that helps you grow mentally, linguistically, and personally, make sure to subscribe. Because here, we don't just learn English, we build a better version of ourselves. Your mind is ready. Now go and make it unforgettable. Thank you for attention. If you learned something from this video, please subscribe my channel, Elite English.